top search.
Okay. Okay. Let me
Oh,
see.
let's try that. So I'm going to
Jerry.
share.
Jerry.
I'm going to share it to you in
Okay.
Messenger. Yes. There it is. I just did it. Yes.
Okay.
So now it's in your Messenger. But go on.
Yep, I see it.
But there you go. So now you can watch the show.
Okay.
Okay?
I gotta. Mm.
All right?
Oh crap! It's saying download Adobe Flash. Wow. Okay.
All right, forget that. Listen, we will work this out, but
Yeah, these computers here is.
you have your volume down?
Yep, I don't have any volume at all other than you.
Okay, so now
Yep.
you're going to look into your camera.
Okay.
Okay, look at me because we're going to start this. We're going to start the show, guys.
All right. Am I bright enough, or do you need me to make the light soft?
Honey, you are so bright.
Okay. I was wondering if you wanted a little bit dimmer.
You could get a little closer. Get a little closer. There you go.
Uh,
Right there.
Perfect.
Okay. There we go. All right. So this is good. All right. So we're going to start the show, D-Train.
Okie dokie.
So, baby. You know what we also should do is have that TV, like, so we could see it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Jerry Petito taught the class.
Hey, I
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do,
Just what to do, just what to do.
if what you're feeling is really true,
Is really true, is it really true?
just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Jerry Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jerry Petito Show on HamiltonRadio.net. We're having some tech difficulties, guys. D-Train, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
so
I can hear you.
you disappeared from the screen. We lost the video. Doc G, are you working on that? Did you touch anything on your screen?
No, I was just trying to. I see you live.
What were you just trying to do, D-Train?
I'm sorry.
What did you touch? We've been working on this for a half hour. What did you touch?
Okay, you got me back? You got me back?
We'll see.
I see me now, but
What did
Okay.
you touch?
I touched the see the live button because your thing came up at the bottom of my screen.
Why?
Can you see me now? Oh, now I'm frozen.
I said, we're going to see. I don't know.
I got it frozen me. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but listen to what Danny's telling you to do.
Okay.
Can you hear Danny? Hold on.
All right. So what you did, hun, is you you went to her Facebook Live, which turns your camera off for Skype. So you need to go back to your Skype and turn your camera off, and then turn it back on, so it'll come on to the stream.
Got it. Okay. Hold on. Back to Skype. Skype. Yeah. All
We didn't
right.
do anything, just one little thing.
I love that.
What? Oh. Guys,
All
just bear with us, just so you know, this time it's not my fault.
Okay. Oh boy, Skype. Huh.
He is so funny, isn't he, Maggie? Yes, he is. Lisa
Okay.
Sachs. Oi, I love that.
Gosh.
Lisa, we've been dealing with this for a half hour. I had it perfect. He decided to press a button.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Turn your camera back on.
I don't know. Okay, my camera. God, I wish I was good at this stuff.
You did fine before.
I know.
Just turn Facebook back off. Turn the whole thing off.
Turn the Facebook
Yeah,
on.
because it took your camera.
No, turn Facebook off. You have Facebook on still.
Oh, turn Facebook off. Okay. Wow, this is.
This
We
is
gotta
great,
have
guys.
conversation.
You're getting a little glimpse of what really goes on in this studio behind the scenes, everybody. Okay? I'm just gonna relax and have a sip of my apple cider vinegar. How you doing?
How you doing? Okay, Ruben.
If anybody
Turn
told
your
me,
camera on yet?
if anybody told me 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, when I was dancing to this guy's music, that I'd be interviewing him and this would be going on live, I wouldn't have believed it.
Holy crap. You. Okay, you. It's me. Call started.
D-Train, we had you perfectly. Where are you?
He's the ghost train. I told you you're the ghost train today.
I am the ghost train, the train that is ghost. Oh my God, what'd I do?
Yeah, I think what you're going to have to do is shut your Facebook off and
Okay.
turn your Skype off and restart and then call again.
All right, you do that, and I will talk about you a little bit while you're
All
doing
right.
that, okay? So
All
do
right,
that
then.
now. So everybody out there. So what's
Okay.
so amazing about tonight's show is because we have a legend, D-Train, okay, from the 80s. Oy vey, Lisa, oy vey. Yes, Sharon, he's going to be restarting this, okay? We had it perfectly. So what's happening now is we're going to wait for him, which is awesome. We're fine with that. The guy is unbelievable. I'm having a problem too. You know, I'm going to try and go back on this thing here. We're having some tech issues in this studio tonight. And it's not the studio. It's us. Technology. And I wrote a really cool poem about D-Train as well, of course. You know, my poems are amazing, right? They're amazing. So let's see what's happening here. Hoping this will work. We're waiting for him to call back. He's going to be calling back in, guys, okay?
I hope so.
Should I call, you know what, maybe I should call his house phone?
I just told him to call back. I mean, he called us twice.
I know. See what happens. This is a crazy interview, but it's fun.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's going to be fun. Dan, I'm going to call his house phone and see what happens here, because maybe he needs our help. He might need our help. Oh, he's calling. All right, you're calling him. Okay, it's good.
Hello.
All right,
Do you see me?
hold on 1 second, my friend.
Hold on. Don't move, D-Train. Don't move. Don't move anything. Don't touch a thing.
Touch a thing. I'm so sorry. I got excited when I saw your face.
Yes, sure. I bet that was it.
No, I was live sitting at a table in front of your sign.
Move your camera up a little bit for your head. Can't see your head. There you go.
All right.
Now, can you see him, Jared?
Okay, let's see. I can see him. D-Train, I can see you, sweetheart. Do me a favor. Don't move. I can't hear him, though.
You can't hear him?
Uh-oh.
Oh, I can hear you. So D-Train, listen. Don't move the camera. Don't move anything. You move yourself. Just move yourself lower or or back a little so we can see your face a little bit better, because your top of your head is, there you go. Perfect.
Perfect.
Now look down a little. There, D-Train, the top of your head is being cut off.
Oh, really?
Okay.
How about that?
All right, move back a hair, just like that. Okay? The top of your head is being cut off a little. You don't, there you go, perfect. Stay.
Okay.
No, just stay, just like that, perfect. All right, let's do this. So, I wrote a poem for you. And I'm going to read the poem so everybody out there could at least hear the poem. Clergy Lisa Sachs, an old friend of mine, we grew up together, says all is good now. All right? So, it must be her prayers. Thank you, Lisa. All right, guys, so I am going to read the poem that I wrote for D-Train, guys. Imagine that he's on my show. A shout out to Kathy Kasu for bringing me this guy. She said you got to meet him. I laughed and said, I'll try. I danced to all his music at clubs back in the day. Everyone knew this guy while dancing the night away. Tonight's guest is awesome, a blast from the past. James D-Train Williams had a #1 hit so fast. You're the One for Me, released in 81, #1 Billboard's dance chart, D-Train got it done. His first record deal at 20, Prelude Records was the place. D-Train was on fire, the world would now know his face. Began singing in church at 6, first recording at age 15. Reverend Timothy Wright and the choir were now put on the scene. He got nicknamed D-Train from high school football team. It felt like a train if he hit you. James Williams ran on steam. Erasmus High School it was. PSAL champs they became. 1978 was the year his school was now in the game. Radio City Music Hall one night in 83 opened for one of the greats. Smokey Robinson was he. Began a jingle career in 87, National Budweiser Radio. In 2001, hosted his own Damn D-Train, way to go. Sirius Satellite Radio on Channel 51. Heart and Soul for 7 years. You had a good long run. Let's see. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Okay. In 2015, you toured the Boston Pops for a year as their premier soloist, entertaining far and near. Madison Square Garden in 2015, when Pope Francis was in town, with Harry Connick and Estefan, you guys brought the house down. Also performed in movies, Keeping the Faith was one, A Walk in the Park another, and Perfect Stranger was done. Such greats as Halle Berry, Bruce Willis, and Richard Gere, Winona Ryder, and Ben Stiller, Ed Norton, to name them here. On albums you also sang, as backing vocalist for the best, Michael Jackson and Bette Midler, and Cher, wait for the rest. Luther Vandross and the OJs, Meatloaf and Elton John, Will Downing and Jeff Golub, D-Train, you brought it on. You also sang in Hercules and Pokemon, I hear. I'm sure some other movies, what a ride you had out there. As backing vocalist, you sang from 2012 to 14. The Kennedy Center Honors for 2 years was your scene. You sang for Cardinal Dolan, 2017 at Gotham Hall. New York City is the place that taught you to stand tall. United Stations Radio Networks is currently employing you, a musical director there founded by Dick Clark. It's true. You asked me, what's the story, Jerry? I will now tell you how I feel. I want to tour around your job. Come on, D-Train, let's seal the deal. That's for you, my friend.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart.
That's for you. When you sent me your fax, at the end you said, what's the story, Jerry?
That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Jerry.
So I'm going to, of course, email you your poem.
Please.
Doc G, did you have any idea that this guy had all this going on?
Absolutely none. The guys, you're so impressive, D-Train. Plus, you seem like you're really a great guy. I mean, love working with you.
Oh,
Just a little bit we did already, but you're an awesome guy.
Thank you.
So,
They put me in a room with a computer, but yeah.
listen, don't worry about it. I am a techno idiot, so you did really well, considering if you didn't touch any buttons, we would have been better. All right? Listen,
I know, right?
but I'm a techno
Oh,
idiot
God.
as well. This was beautiful. So you had everybody out there laughing at least. So I just want to say what I do know about you on a personal level. Kathy Kasu. She's a very good friend of mine, a good friend of yours. She made this introduction. She speaks incredibly highly of you. She says, you know, you're one of the greatest guys out there inside and out. So, and I trust Kathy.
Oh,
So-
she's my sweetheart.
So-
I love Kathy, and thank you, Kathy.
Okay, and I can't wait to
Yeah.
meet you. We're gonna make this meeting happen. You don't live too far, so this is awesome. So, Doc G, before I start talking to him, do you have any questions for this legend? I know, right?
I wish I came prepared. D-Train, I just the amazing list of celebrities you've been with.
That's crazy.
I mean, did you reach all your aspirations, or did you want to get to a certain person that you never got to, or play with a certain person you never got to? Can you let us know
Well, what's interesting was that my stint with the Boston Pops came about by Prince dying. And before Prince died, his keyboard player called me on his last performance on the George Lopez show, which was going off the air, Lopez at Night. And I get a phone call, and he says, "Hey, D-Train, how you doing? My name is, I forgot his keyboard player's name, but he called me and he says, listen, he says, Prince wants your blessing." And I was like, "Prince who? Prince Marky D?" He says, no, D-Train. Prince wants your
Prince.
blessing. And I was like, "Oh, that Prince. Well, you tell him he got it." I said, and here's Hubert's number. And I gave my partner Hubert's number, and he called up Hubert also and got Hubert's blessing to perform "You're the One for Me" on Lopez at Night. And then when he died, YouTube released all of his live videos. And I had discovered that Prince had been opening most of his shows with "You're the One for Me" since 2006.
No, that's beautiful. What an honor is that, right?
So I felt like our paths were heading for each other. And then when I got the call from the Boston Pops in 2015 to tour with them, they wanted me to sing none other than Purple Rain.
No.
Yeah, you can find it somewhere on YouTube, little snippets from people's cell phone.
I'm gonna
But
have to check that out.
yeah, I was singing Purple Rain with them and Chuck Berry. You know.
It's beautiful. So I was really impressed with all your facts with all these famous people. I got to tell you, you know, I remember dancing to your music in the clubs. I mean, you know, that was just like amazing back then. You know, a lot of people don't know this, but right here in Mercer County, New Jersey, back in the 80s, we had 3 clubs. We had
Wow.
the Granada. That was a Sunday and Wednesday night ordeal. We had Brothers every Saturday night. And then we had, Heaven's Lounge in East Windsor on Route 130 in the bowling alley. And Chubby Checker did a benefit there in the 80s, and he came out in the audience and brought me up on the stage, and I did the twist with him. It was really
Wow.
cool back in the day, all that great stuff that was going on in Mercer County.
Wow.
So, and your music was played constantly, you know.
Oh, wow.
Yep, when I talked to you on the phone, you know, it took my breath away a little bit there.
But you know what? It's like our music went out far and wide, and we didn't have any clue as to how far and wide it went until we went to London for the first time. And Hubert and I are probably the only American group to do Top of the Pops 4 times and Soul Train 5 times in 2 different countries.
Wow, that's impressive.
4 times with Don Cornelius, and the last time we did it with Don Cornelius, that was when he had Shamar Moore, who was getting ready to take over for hosting duties at Soul Train, and then they flew me to London to do Soul Train with Jeffrey Daniels, because Don Cornelius was trying to expand his brand across the water.
You know, we didn't put the phone number up. We normally do. Doc G, put the phone number up. Guys, if anybody wants to call in, you are welcome to do that and ask D-Train any questions you want. We're going to post the phone number up there because I mean, I'm sure there are people out there that would love to just talk to you and even say hello. Even if you don't have any questions, guys, if you just want to say hello and tell him how much you enjoyed his music, we are all about that. So, so D-Train,
Mm-hmm.
the one problem that we really can't play your music because we're worried about it, you know, being taken down. We have issues with that, and unfortunately, but Doc G, if he sang a couple notes, all right, I would love it if you could serenade me. Guys, this is for me. Everybody out there, this is for me. No, this is for all of us. Listen, if you could serenade me with a few lines of your song,
Okay, which song?
surprise me.
If I told you that I loved you, would you turn and walk away? Could these words be too serious to bear? If I dare say what's in my heart. We both said let's not get heavy. Let's play the game of kiss don't tell.
Guys,
But how was I to know that love was concentrating on me? Oh, deep in love I fell. You're the reason that my love's alive. You're my day and you're my night. You're my guiding light. Oh, you're the reason there's a bright sunshine for the rest of my life.
I hope everybody out there really
That's for you,
understands
Jerry.
what just
That's the
happened here.
story, Jerry.
That's the story, baby. That's the story, baby. So, how we doing on Facebook, Doc G? Is it it's still there?
Yeah, good.
Okay, because let's see. Yep, there you are. We're still there. This is beautiful. D-Train, thank you for that. I mean, now my bucket list is probably pretty much done, right? I mean, you sang to me live. That's amazing. So,
Well, other than that, just getting a hug, you know what I mean?
oh, honey, when I see you, you're going to get a big hug. Don't worry about that. So, I don't usually do this, but I want to read some of the comments because I want to tell you who else is watching. Pablo
Okay.
Reyes is also watching. Mike Diamore just said super voice and super talent. Okay, Michael Diamore, if you have a minute and you want to call in and say hey to D-Train, please do that, my love. 609-807-2492. Okay, guys, Michael Diamore, he would love to hear from you, and maybe you could sing a couple lines. I'm just saying, baby. I'm just saying. Pablo Reyes, Papo, he's watching you. Pablo's also a
Okay.
good friend of mine, and I had the honor of meeting him when he came into town. He lives in Florida, and you guys should hook up on Facebook. Pablo, grab him, okay? He sings to everybody and just makes their day. He sings from his living room, and I just love Pablo. He's also an awesome singer. He's beautiful. So we could have that connection as well, guys. All right? So tell us some more stuff about all the amazing. Oh, tell us about Harry Connick Jr. How was that to meet him? And
Well,
Luther.
the
Tell us
second
about
time I
that,
got to
too.
work with, it was the second time I worked with Harry. The first time I worked with him on the Queen Mary for the Katie Couric Cancer Foundation after her husband had passed. And I was singing backgrounds along with Fonzie Thornton, Robin Clark, and a number of other singers in New York behind Beyonce. She was singing You'll Never Walk Alone. Katie Couric, and I got to work with Harry then, and it was interesting meeting him then because back then Donald Trump was on the cruise. Interestingly enough, in the same room as Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, wow. And nobody killed each other.
Oh yeah, they bumped into each other.
Yeah.
Not now, but back
Yeah,
then. And then, so this was the second time I got to work with Harry, and it was fun, a lot of fun. I love him because he has soul from like the Bayou. You know, even when you talk to Harry Connick Jr., you would think you're talking to like a brother from New Orleans. You know what I mean? New Orleans, as they say. And he has that drawl in his voice
Oh, wow.
and that soul in his music. And he's just a wonderful person, man. He's just laid back.
So, what about Luther?
Luther is funny as I don't know what. And that was my boy. That was my dude. He came to that show in 1983 with Smokey Robinson. Marcus Miller brought him backstage because he was like, I heard of this D Train, but I just want to go see him for myself. I don't know if he all that good. And he snuck it through the back door. And I was so amazed at his clothes that I forgot to even speak because he had on a full-length purple leather jacket with purple boots,
Oh, my favorite.
purple turtleneck.
I
I
have
mean,
it
it
on
was
now. I
like
love
print
purple.
in Luther Dome. And it looked so fabulous on him. And, you know, he came backstage, and then years later, I got a phone call from Fonzie Thornton saying, hey, D, you know, we did a bunch of work over the years when I started doing jingles. We did Pepsi Cola jingles with Nile Rodgers, who would direct us. In fact, Luther worked with us for 2 days when we were doing Michael Jackson's album. We were up at the Hit Factory on 54th Street. And spent 2 days with him doing that. And then finally I got the call from him, you know, the big chief, and said, hey, I want D Train in the studio to do my song, She Saw You, written by Marcus Miller for Dance with My Father. And I came in and he said, D Train, you know, you do a lot of different voices. I said, I do. He says, I want you to be all the guys on my job that me cheating behind my wife's back. I said, what? He said, yeah. So I had to do a bunch of different character voices and pretend that, you know, it was like, you know, you're busted. I can't help you. I can't save you. She saw you. She saw you. You know, and there's a bunch of different guys saying, oh, man, she saw you. You busted. You busted. So when you hear the song, you hear like 15 to 20 different D Trains doing You Busted. But it was nice. And it was wonderful working in the studio with Luther because he was a perfectionist, and I miss him deeply. I miss him
Yeah.
deeply.
Sure. I think the world does. The world
Yeah.
does. You know.
I was on the air broadcasting in New Orleans, and I had Jeffrey Osborne, and I had just finished interviewing Jeffrey Osborne on the air for Sirius Satellite Radio when B.J. Stone got the call, and I went down in the courtyard to greet the guests that had come to the W Hotel in the French Quarter. And I turned around, and B.J. Stone, who was the program director of Heart and Soul and the director of the R&B radio format at Sirius Radio, he was crying like a 12-year-old kid, like somebody punched him in the face. Tanya Simpson from Kiss FM and WBLS fame, she's standing there crying. They were fanning her. They had to sit her in a chair, and I was like, what was going on? And I turned around, and he said, Fonzie just called in, and Luther just died. And we got back to New York, excuse me, and we went to his memorial service and talked to his mother and his nieces, because Luther was taking care of his sister's children.
Okay.
You know, Pat, she had 2 daughters, and he was taking care of them when they passed. And he was the last child that his mother had. Both of his sisters had died in previous years, along with his father, of course, who he writes Dance with My Father about, and he was the last child. So his mother lived, I think, another 3 or 4 years because we did a benefit and a show for her with Dionne Warwick, myself, Cissy Houston, and the original Luther Vandross band in Pennsylvania. And it was really nice.
So, you do voices?
Oh, yeah, I do a bunch of character voices. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes I just stand into this British guy, and, you know, sometimes people just get on my nerves, you know what I mean? Sometimes I don't know how to say what I really want to say. But what I really want to say is thank you very much for having me on the show. You know what I mean? Thank you.
Do more.
Well, sister man, you know, brother don't like people when they call him and they tell him, yo man, what's the problem? I'm Rasputin, you're from Brooklyn. What up, brother? And the funniest thing is I could sing the Korean national anthem in Korean. That's my greatest favorite. Singing the Korean national anthem to the Koreans in Korean. Oh, I was taught by my Taekwondo master who I studied under for 8 years in martial arts. He was from Kyung-hee University in South Korea.
Okay.
Taekwondo, and I got to fight in tournaments. But what he would do to surprise the Grand Masters who came from Korea was he would have me sing the Korean national anthem in Korean, and they didn't know how to respond, seeing a big black man singing the Korean national anthem in Korean. It was like dumbfounded. They were like, "Ay-ya,
So,
ay-ya."
so I have a question about that. So,
Yeah.
do you still know how to do it? Can you do 2 lines at least, just to like let us hear something? Because that's pretty cool.
Dongha malgwa tu sami madugo gol choro te asaram te ha unro uri naramanase mulungwa samri chalri kwario kom song Te asaram te haunu uri naraman hase.
That's so cool. That's so cool. We got to get this video to Korea now, Doc G. We got to get this video to.
Well, you know what,
we
Geraldine?
gotta,
I'm
like,
working
really
on a
make
project.
sure it does. So Pablo Reyes has a message for you. He
Sure.
said, Luther, to tell you that Luther is the man with the most incredible romantic voice. So the question for you is, was that true? Did he ever sing romantically to you? I'm curious.
Luther did have the best romantic voice, but Geraldine, I came up in a time where you had singers like Teddy Pendergrass,
Oh, yeah.
Bryson. Luther was the greatest romantic voice of his time. Before him, we had Jackie Wilson. We had
I love Jackie Wilson.
and we had Sam Cooke, and Johnny Taylor and Bobby Womack. So I have a plethora of people to choose from for romance. Jeffrey Osborne, from LTD, Maurice White, Earth, Wind and Fire. So was he the greatest romantic voice of his time and his generation, and for every generation after that? Yes.
Okay. All right. So my opinion is he was the second greatest.
Ah.
The first greatest was Elvis. Just saying. Pablo, shame on you. No. So
Love me tender, love me true, never let me go. Oh, my darling, I love you, and I always will.
beautiful.
That's my best Elvis I can give you,
Beautiful.
girl.
If everyone's wondering why sometimes I look to my right or to your left, it's because our screen is over there. So I want to look at his face when he's singing and talking, and then I'm looking into the camera as well. So that's why, guys. Okay.
My favorite Elvis movie was the one he did with the nuns. I can't remember the name
Change
of
of
it.
Habit.
Yep, I
Mary
love that
Tyler
movie.
Moore.
Yep, that was a good movie.
So I heard something about that movie recently. I'm surprised you just mentioned that because I was listening to Sirius Elvis and they were just talking about it about a week ago, and it's something I didn't know. So
Okay.
the majority of Elvis movies, like with Aunt Margaret and everybody, they all hung out and a lot of them dated, I guess, and became close. Him and Mary Tyler Moore just had a business relationship, period. They weren't even really friends. Not that they didn't like each other, but she would, as soon as the scene was over and they had some time, she would go into her dressing room and he would go into his, and that would be about it. So I didn't really know that. I mean, that's crazy to me.
Well, you know what? I think it was professionalism, and I think it was respect.
No,
'Cause
with
Mary-
Elvis, no, honey.
No, but you know what? Everybody fawned over Elvis.
Phew.
Mary Tyler Moore probably didn't, and she was at the core of her being. Mary Tyler Moore was a lady,
No, I know.
and she was a lot of women, you know, I mean, Hollywood being what it is, 10% of this, 80% of that. And me, you know, going out there a couple of times and seeing part of that. I don't think Mary Tyler Moore wanted to get involved. It's just like people who do movies like a Jodie Foster,
Okay.
you know, who comes across as very businesslike and straight on scene. You know, she's like not one of those people that's going to be hanging out with you at the party after party. You know, she's kind of that person that has her own friends and she'll go hang out with her own friends and family.
You know what's funny? I want to say something to you, but then I got to tell you, someone wants me to give you a message. But she was also playing a nun in that movie, so that would have been a little weird, huh? If she kind of like flirted with him in between.
Yeah, you know. You
So-
don't want to mess with the Catholic Church, baby.
Okay, baby. So, Huni Bakatoon, the Magic Man, okay, on Beverly Nation, ONE. He's on, and he wants me to tell you, D-Train, that the Magic Man loves your music. Huni
Thank you
Bak,
so much,
if
Magic
you
Man.
have a second, call in 609-807-2492. We would love to hear from you, Huni Bak. I love you. So, everybody loves you, D-Train.
I love him right back.
Man.
You know, you know what happens is when you've been around this long and you've been able to maintain. My mother always told me, she said, son, the race isn't given to the swift nor the strong, but to he that endureth in the end.
I love
And
it.
if you can stand this battle of people that come in and out of your life, because as a musician, your life is like a revolving door in a department store. And there's people who's going to come in and they're going to stay for a while, and then they're going to leave. And then there's people who come in and they're going to stay for the rest of your lives. And my mother taught me also, it's not about you. It's not about your ego. Because when you're gone, there's going to be another you. So always be humble, be respectful, treat people the way you want to be treated, love the way you want to be loved unconditionally, and give that out to the world and give your energy out. Because what you have been given comes with great responsibility. That's a gift that, yes, it belongs to you, but you have to share it with the world, and you have to share it with them unconditionally and without ego. Because when you use your ego stands for easing God out.
Oh, I love that. We love that. I never heard that before. Doc G, did you ever hear that? I love it too. Did you make that up, or is that out there?
No, easing God out. I mean, I learned a lot of things, great things growing up in church. Ronnie Dyson was my choir director. Al Sharpton was my junior church minister. And there was this gentleman named Robert Evans who used to write up the church programs every Sunday morning. And he wrote up a saying that I've never heard said again. He said, at 20, your face is what God made it. At 40, it's what you made it. And at 60, it's what you deserve.
Wow. You know, I'm going to probably ask you to remind me about what you just said, because I absolutely love it. I'm a nutritional health coach, and I have a lot of things I like to say to my clients, and I teach a lot of people, mostly women, and there's a reason why. KYW, know your worth. That's my favorite saying, okay? What you just said, everybody out there should really listen to, because what you just said is amazing. And I never heard any, I thought I've heard a lot, but I'll tell you what, I haven't heard any of what you just said tonight, and I love the ego thing as well. Because, you know, what you've done with your life, I mean, it shows on you that you've given all the glory to God. It shows on you. You don't have an ego. From the first moment that you and I spoke, I knew that. And
Right.
I just think you're one of the most beautiful people that I've ever encountered, and I just can't wait to meet you.
But you also, my
That's
dear, you know what?
beautiful.
It's not about who we are, because a lot of times it's what we leave behind.
Yeah.
And my dad always said, you only get one chance to make a first impression. And people will sometimes judge you, or you could be having a bad day, you know. But working at this place that I work now, it's a comedy station. I've been here for 25 years, musical director for the last 6. But my journey has taken me around the world, and I often tell people, who are narrow-minded about God, because I grew up in the Christian faith, and they were always like, if you don't believe Jesus the way we believe Jesus, then you're going to hell and you're going to burn. And it wasn't until I went to Tokyo, and I took a 3-hour train ride to Osaka, and there was a Buddha about 30 feet high up off the ground, and it was the biggest Buddha that I had ever seen. It was like 2 or 3 stories tall, and it was sitting in the middle of the woods, but it had all these little shops around it. And I said, wow. I said, was this always like this? They said, no, this was a Buddhist temple. But what happened was when the Japan was invaded by the Chinese, they burnt the temple to the ground. And then the only thing left standing after all the fire had burned out was a snowstorm. The Buddha was the only thing left standing.
Wow.
And I went into the back of that Buddha, and I went 2 stories down where the monks used to pray underground. Now that's a deep thing, because when you go into the back of a Buddha underground 2 stories in August in Osaka, Japan, it's hotter than Brooklyn in the summertime, baby. But what I got from that, the spirit that I felt, was what those monks do when they chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, or when they're just chanting Om. I understand that Om is the voice that you speak in when you speak to God, sometimes because that's your connection with the spirit. You know, sometimes we always put too many words to what we have to say. Oh, well, you know, the kids got flunked in school today, and we run on with words that we think are generational, we think are pure, we think God wants to hear. You know, in the Catholic Church, it's Father, forgive me, I've sinned. In Christian churches, Jesus, forgive me, I've sinned. But all you have to do is open up your heart and accept yourself as who you are. Because we all make mistakes. We fall down 11 times, get up 12, that's all. It's not how many times you fall down, it's how many times you get back up and face another day. And the secret in life is not getting from month to month or year to year. It's getting from day to day, minute to minute. And you create your destiny minute to minute. The way you start your day is going to be the way the whole day goes. I promise you to God. If you get up and you watch the news, the first 5 minutes of the news will depress the heck out of you. It'll depress you so bad, you don't even want to eat your breakfast. You be sitting there eating breakfast, go, who got killed? Oh my God, and that place is on fire. They got 30 potholes, and traffic is doing what? And traffic does the same thing every morning. It gets crazy. But we sit there to watch it just to make ourselves feel like we're connected to what's going on in the world. And one thing I learned is that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
That's right. That's right.
I turn news off. I don't watch it until I want to know what the weather is. That's it. In the morning, I go into my room, I say my prayers, I say my affirmations, and I begin my day on a positive note. When I get to work, turn on my YouTube positive affirmation channel, and I go from there for the first hour of my day, and then I head to the gym. And that's the way my day begins every day.
So you said, did anybody out there think that this show was going to be motivational? Because I certainly didn't, and I'm so impressed, and I just love this. I got to tell you, I got to share something with you, D-Train, because I'm a Christian, obviously, right? Everybody knows that about me, but I was also an addict, and I wrote this book on addiction. And I also owned a poker league. I'm also a poker player, right? I owned a poker league in Mercer County. I gave it up about 2 years ago, but I owned it for like 10. I was involved with it for like 12. And it was called Ms. Night Owl Poker. And people used to say to me all the time, well, aren't you a Christian? Yes. Well, you're in bars every night with this poker league. Yes, that's exactly where God put me. Because I can't help people sitting in a church 3 days a week. I'm sorry. So I agree with you with that. And I can't tell you how many people I helped, you know, through God. I mean, God worked through me, through this poker league. There was a video out there. It's one of my favorite videos. I think it's a young pastor. And he's sitting on a stool, and he's sitting in a church. And he says, where would you rather be? In the church pew or on a bar stool? Where do you think you can help more people? It's one of my favorite videos. You got to check it out. So
On the bar?
it's Church Pew and a Bar Stool, I think it's called. It's great.
you-
And as far as being positive, I used to be told on a constant basis, stop smiling so much. Stop being happy. Why are you happy all the time? Because I tell everybody the same thing you just said. If you want to be woe is me 24/7 and you're always having a bad day and everything, that's what's going to happen in your day. So, you know, I just love listening to what you have to say. It's amazing. I didn't expect this with this interview tonight. Thank you. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I mean, you know what? I come to work and, you know, in the age of Me Too.
D-Train, hold that. We have a phone call. Let's take this.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Before they hang up, we want this. Phone caller. Hello? Hello?
Hello, how you doing?
Hi, who's calling?
Hey, it's the Magic Man.
Hunibak, what's in the background? We hear something.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on, let me mute myself.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Hunibak will be right back.
All right.
All right, can you hear me?
I'm telling Brother O on you that you had background noise. Shame.
Yeah, I know. He's gonna scare me alive.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, first of all, you know the Magic Man got nothing but pure divine love and respect for you, Jerry, and all that you do. Again, congratulations. Last night was off the chain. I mean, pretty soon we, you know, as a unit, as a whole, we're gonna be 300,000 plus. So that's showing that we're really doing a remarkable work. Now, for your special guest, you know, as a master sound therapist, a lot of people may not be familiar with that, but they soon will. That's part of my purpose of while I'm here. And no, D-Train, it's not out of ego. It's one of the things that's been placed in my heart and one of those things that I was raised to do by bringing people's attention in the healing effects of music, all kinds of music.
Right.
And
Oh,
as
yeah.
a traveling man, you know, just like you, as a traveling man, internationally, you know, I was able to meet and greet with different type of faith and religious backgrounds and stuff like that. But the bottom line is, when people strip the name and people who are sincere devotees, then we're getting back to the purpose, because, as I like to say, and Jerry can be my witness, I normally say all in all, or all praises due to all in all, who's in all, through all, above, and in comparison all. And the titles that human beings have gave God or the Most High is really, really too small, you know. But the bottom line is, it's in place in my mind and my spirit, because that's where the argument starts, you know. So the bottom line, that's besides the point. I am a lover of music, and a lot of the music that you shared with the world, and faithfully, you know, I'm looking for some new stuff. I haven't heard anything from you in a while, but the bottom line is the things that you made and the music that you gave us is legendary. It's going to be here long after we're gone, just like Jerry Petito's great book is going to be here long after we're gone. And through music and words, it's going to outlast us. But that's one of the greatest gifts, as you were saying, and I couldn't agree with you more, sir.
Well, you know, I was going to thank you, Magic Man. I just want to say thank you, my brother. You know, I've had music out. Like last year, I had the single out with DJ Lenny Fontana called When You Feel What Love Has. If you ever want to check it out, it's on YouTube, the video also, When You Feel What Love Has. And it's almost like what you were just saying, God is love, and people give him so many different names. And the year before that, we had Raise Your Hands Up, which was based off of my old song, Music. We did a remix of it, added new lyrics to it. So you can check those both out, Raise Your Hands Up and When You Feel What Love Has. But, you know, I like what you say about both you and Jerry, about, you know, God being in bars and everything else. When I left the church, we had to get permission, you know, because to them you were going out in the world. And see, in my case, Ronnie Dyson went out before me. And, you know, Ronnie's case, he did well for a minute, but then he got on the drugs, and the drugs is what took him out. But what happened was, when I left, I went to my pastor and I said, you know, Pops, even in the Bible, Jesus wasn't in the temples. In fact, he was throwing people out of the temple
That's right.
because there were false prophets up in there. And if you look up in the church nowadays, you got enough of them going on in there too.
Right.
So what happens is God is where you are because he lives in you. You're an extension of him. You're an extension. You're his instrument in whatever you do. If you got a card game going in a bar, as long as you sitting there, he's there. If you going to a poker table, as long as you sitting there, he's there. God is everywhere you are because you are representative of it. So what I've learned is that, like you, Jerry, I can reach more people standing on a stage in a club than I ever could standing in a choir in a pulpit.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because what happens is the regurgitation, I would say, how are you going every Sunday, you singing to the same 35 or 3,500 people that's already saved or already Christians, so you regurgitating the same message to the same people who done heard it for 25 years. Are they going to get any more saved, or are they going to become a better Christian because you sang it this week, last week, the week before? You may give them motivation, you may give them inspiration, but what I've seen is that those same people will walk outside the doors of that church and won't give nobody a dime that walks up to them and says, hey, can you help me?
That's right. That's
And
right.
so what happens is, it's not what you place in their hand, it's what you place in their heart. And if it ain't in their heart in the building, it ain't gonna be inside their heart outside the building.
That's beautiful. You're absolutely right. You know, I'm going to tell you two silly stories about my poker league, okay? And, you know, they respected me. These young people, they respected me and they were wonderful. So if anybody ever used the Lord's name in vain, I would say, hey, you know, if they ever said, Jesus Christ, I'd go, hey, and they would go, okay, Jerry, cheese and rice, cheese and rice. So they really did. They were amazing. And I was in Hooters one night with a game. Hooters. You guys know what that is, right? Okay.
Oh yeah, I took my mother there one night and she was like, James, why is the ladies dressed like that? I said, Mom, I'll explain later.
Let me tell you about those wonderful young women that worked at Hooters. They're all putting themselves through college, okay, guys? So please don't judge them.
right.
They're all putting
That's
themselves
right.
through college. They were beautiful, beautiful, beautiful young women. So
That's right.
one night, someone asked me to pray with them after the game. We went outside in my car and he accepted Jesus in the Hooters parking lot, okay? How about that, guys? Came out of my
Wow.
car screaming in the parking lot, I just accept Jesus as my Lord and Savior. So that's what I, you know, when I talk about, and I'm not that person. I don't go in anybody's faces and slam God. I don't. But I ask everyone that comes into my path one time, just give me a few minutes of my time. Let me tell you about Jesus. And I do that. And then it's up to you. I'm here. But, you know, that's where people need us, okay, the most, you know?
True.
So that's
They need
beautiful.
you in dark
Beautiful.
ways, they need you in the alleyways.
That's right.
I mean, you know, they need you in the nursing home.
That's right.
It's like I worked with a gentleman by the name of Isaac Black. Isaac Black, I worked with him for 2 years when I was with Sirius. And I would come in and do my show at Sirius, and then I would go to his house in Battery Park. Isaac Black, for those of you who don't know, was the gentleman who owned 2 pharmaceutical companies, became a billionaire when one of those pharmaceutical companies created the drug Cialis, and lost about $300 to $400 million
Wow.
with Bernie Madoff. And so you see what people hold in place of their fortune. But even though he lost this money, this man was doing every nursing home from the Riverdale Jewish nursing home and, you know, Riverdale, New York, all the way to Brooklyn, New York, out there in Sheepshead Bay, all over. And I was working with him every Sunday singing for senior citizens. I thought I was on the senior citizens tour. You could have called me the Rolling Stones instead of Mick Jagger. But, but I realized that my mother got me that gig. I kept wondering, you know, because I played for a church in Brooklyn, And I stopped playing to do this gig. And I'm sitting there going, why am I on this gig singing with this guy? He already got money. You know, he's paying me well, but he already had the money. Why am I in a nursing home? And I realized at the end of the day, my mother had passed in 05. He called me in 06. And I worked with him from 06 to 08. And I said, why did you hire me? And that was then when I realized about angels and how my mother probably got to him to call me. And he called me up and said, D-Train, would you like to sing in my band? I'm like, yeah. And the name of his band was really kind of weird. It was called the Black Mountain Boys, based off of the Black Mountains up in Bear Mountain. And I was the only Black Mountain boy in the group. So but I had to ask him because I was like, Isaac, is this going to be like Hootie and the Blowfish? No, doesn't need to know. I'm the only black one up in here. Let's talk, man. Let's talk. So he said, no. It's not because you're black, Detroit. It's because, it's based off of the Black Mountains up in Bear Mountain. And we went up there to the Sagamore Hotel and performed for those wonderful people and had 2 wonderful years together. But what I learned was that a lot of times we focus a lot of our attention on the youth because they're the up and coming. And we forget about the senior citizens who paved the way for us to be here. Just like in the music industry, these young kids now, they don't know about James Brown. They don't know the hardships of what the Temptations went through riding up and down the highways and byways and not being able to stop to use the bathroom or to eat food. They don't know about that. How Gladys Knight and them went through the hardships. They only know what they see in the historical archives of television. I came in at the tail end of that, Geraldine, when I would go visit family members upstate New York, and we were not allowed in North Carolina. And my mother and them would cook all night long. I mean, they'd cook tater salad, chicken, everything. Like we were going to a picnic. And I'm like, we're just driving down the south. It's 12 hours? Okay. I did not realize, and I was too young to realize, we could not pull over to stop.
Oh.
We could not stop on 95 South in 1970. We could not go to Rye Playland. We had to go to Adventures Inn in the Bronx.
I want to throw up right now.
Yeah. So, and then my mother didn't believe in the education that was going on in the system over where I lived in Bedford-Stuyvesant. So she sent me out to Homecrest and Avenue T in Brooklyn, which was out there near Sheepshead Bay. And it was an all-Italian area where we were bused, but we had to be on the bus by 3 o'clock. And I'm going to tell you a true story about my mother because she's my hero. A lot of people, and my dad was my hero, but I'm going to tell you a little story about that because it talks about race in America. Years 1968, 69, and I'm in public school and I'm in the 1st grade. Took a test to get passed to an SP class. And there was a little white girl named Marianne Giovanni or whatever. And what happened was we both took the same test, got the same score in the 90s. Okay. They promoted Marianne, but they wouldn't promote me.
No.
So my mother goes, why didn't they promote you? I said, I don't know. So the very next day, Jerry, I hear screaming in the hallway after I got into the classroom. I hear, I want him out of there! And I want him out of there now! And I didn't know it was my mother. It sounded like my mother. My teacher looked at me and she says, James, go over to the cabinet, get your smock, get your apron, get your book bag, and your coat. You're going next door.
Okay.
They sent me to the SP class where Marianne was.
Okay.
Because my mom tested that day in school. But here's the moral to the story. 3 o'clock comes. And I'm getting out of school, I'm out of class, and all the black kids had to line up in 2 lines to make sure all of us was accounted for and we wasn't in the neighborhood after 3 o'clock. And we all marched to the bus, and as I'm getting on the bus, I see my mother standing at the gate to the school. Now, my mother didn't have a car, and I'm like, Mommy, what are you doing here? And she looked at me and she smiled and she said, I work here now. They hired me.
No, really?
No lie. My mother stayed there for the next 27 years.
I'm
And
so
they went,
wow.
and they went back. They got her high school diploma because she was from the Deep South. They got her a high school diploma, and she got an associate's degree, became the reading teacher, the hearing aid teacher, a paraprofessional on the bus, and a paraprofessional in the lunchroom. Stayed there for 27 years. The only thing that hurt me was when Cuomo wouldn't sign the bill for the paraprofessionals to receive a pension. No paraprofessional working from 1971 through 82 got a pension.
Your mother was amazing. Your mother was amazing.
Tell you another story, real quick one. We grew, like the area we were in was a lot of mob bosses. Frank, it was Avenue T and Homecrest.
Okay.
And occasionally a mob boss would tell his son to come to school and just fight one of us, just beat us up, just spit in our food. I mean, it was 1969. So I remember this kid named John Giordano, and I'm naming names because he's probably here and he may not be here. But John Giordano came to school and his dad told him, he said, hey, my dad told us to beat up all the moolies here. I didn't know what a moolie was, but he said, we told us to beat up all the moolies, Miss Smith. My mother, they hurry up and rush all the white kids off the playground, and only the black kids were left in the yard. We were out at recess.
Okay.
And it was like a scene from a movie. The principal is in the window screaming, Ella, get the kids out of the yard! And my mother didn't have time enough because these boys turned the corner with sticks, bats, chains, and whatever else. And it was like at least 15 deep of them coming around the corner, like the Lords of Flatbush. So my mother, very calmly, stood in the gate and waited for them. Because only the black kids was out in the yard and they huddled in a corner. And my mother stood in the gate and John got to the gate and said, Mr. Smith, you gotta move. My father told me we gotta do this. She said, John, I understand what your father told you to do. And here's how we gonna do this. My mother proceeded to take off her whistle and took off her smock. And she laid it on the fence. And she said, John, with all that I am as a mother and a woman, she said, all these children here in the yard, I don't know who pissed you off and why. But you see that little one over there? He belongs to me. And to get to him, you got to go through me. All of you. So if you're not ready to dance, then step back. I'm waiting, John. What's your decision? Do you know all of them threw down their weapons and went home?
I don't know what to say right now.
That's what taught me about courage and the fear of God. My mother didn't have fear. She only knew the fear of God. She didn't fear no man whatsoever. And she didn't fear mob teachers out there were scared to not pass kids because their daddy was who they were. My mother wasn't afraid of that. And many years later, in 1981, 82, when my record comes out, one of the guys out there, Joe, he goes, James, man, I watch your mother's car. She's all right, Mrs. Smith. We take care of her. Mrs. Smith, we watch her. On my mother's eyes, I promise you, she's good. She's good, Jimmy. I make sure she's good. And his brother went into the family business. He didn't, but they watched out for my mother until she retired and made sure nobody bothered her car, nobody approached her on the street, and she had the favor of God. And see, what happens is when you have the favor of God in your life, and the favor of God in your life doesn't come from what you do in public, because what you do in public is your personality.
That's right.
You might be that person that smiles in you got a lot of people on your job smiling and some of them are pedophiles. You don't know which one is the pedophile, which one goes home and beats his wife and kids unnecessarily. Personality is what you are when everybody's around. Character is what you are when everybody's gone. Character defines you. Character is the one that sets you straight, because what your character makes you will shine through your personality, and it doesn't change. See, personalities can change, because personalities are like a mountain. They go up and down and up and down, and one day they're happy, next day they're sad. Your character and your spirit, when they're one and they're connected and you're happy inside, Every day. That's why you got a smile on your face, Jerry. People don't understand why. Because your character is on point and your spirit is at peace. When your character is on point and your spirit is at peace and you are one with the universe or God or Allah or whatever you choose to call it, you'll have a good day every day. Even if you got rained on, something got spilled on your dress, you know, you lost a family member, somebody died, your sister broke up with her husband, you still smiling. Nobody understands why. Because you've been chosen. All of us have been chosen. We've all been given a work to do. Some of us choose not to do it. Some of us choose to do it for money. Some of us choose to do it for gain. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I like money, so I do it for both.
I get you.
And for gain and for peace, though. But I love, when I was younger as D-Train, if I could tell a younger D-Train, I'd say, look, because it was competition back then. We wanted to compete with the time and Parliament Funkadelic and the Barcades. You wanted to be the best that you could be at your craft. There's nothing wrong with competition. You know, when I was on the football field, I competed. When I was a martial artist, just going to the school and learning how to fight, was not good enough for me. I had to put it into effectual practice. And that's why I began fighting in tournaments. I fought at West Point. I fought at Stanford University. I fought at, Queens College to find out what my place is in this art that I'm learning against other men who I do not know, who I don't see every week. How would this work in the street? How could I protect my family, or my friends? So I say, like Anthony Robbins, if you got a dream, go for it. Because on the other side, everybody has a dream. Everybody wants the big house or the big car, and then some people don't. Some people just want love in their life, or a happy home, or a quiet little place to live. Okay, all of that is on the other side of your fear. That's it. Everything else is on the other side of your fear. When you can get past your fear, there's nothing that you can't achieve. See, my mother always said, you can't go around every situation. You can't go up over it. Some things you can't climb, and some things you won't be able to dig under. You got to go straight through them. You had to become a drug addict. It was in your destiny. Why? Because if it wasn't in your destiny, you wouldn't be who you are now.
Absolutely. Amen to that.
You wouldn't be who you are now if you were just that good. You might have, had a great life or whatever, but you're a stronger person, a more determined person, and you have wisdom that you can give to somebody else that might be beginning to do what you used to do. So you can say, listen, let me tell you something.
That's right.
Pull your coattails or something. This is where you're going to end up if you keep on this road.
I have to tell you a few comments that are being made for you because I never thought this show was going to be where it's going today. And I want to just say thank you to God for this, because Michael Diamore says, what an amazing story, and thank you for sharing it. Pablo Reyes says he could listen to D-Train talk all day. Brooklyn is in the house. And then he said, with everything going on in his life and his body, because he's had some health struggles lately, he was in the hospital. Pablo, we love you. He said, you have made him feel so good today, and God bless you. Okay?
Oh, God.
People are watching, and Greg Rapport says this guy is priceless. So I just want to say to you, D-Train, that you have also blessed me today, because I just thought this was going to be a fun show. I mean, it is fun, but your humor is unbelievable, and I've been talking to you for a while, the last week, but I never expected this today. I'm going to share a story with you about myself, too. I'm blown away by the story about your mom, and this is why. My brother was obese as a child his whole entire life. He was born at 13 pounds, I believe it was. And one of them was supposed to die at birth, and God saved both of them. And so my brother was obese most of his life. We're up to 600 pounds. He's lost like 350 pounds now.
Wow.
So anyway, I was like 6 pounds. I was this small little kid, and I was tough because of my mother.
Mm-hmm.
My mother beat up a nun in our Catholic grammar school in New York, and I'm listening to your story, and I'm like, oh my goodness, your mom and my mom would have loved each other. My brother was It was pouring raining one day, and my mom walked him to school. He was a year and a half older than me, but I would walk on my own 2 blocks, okay? You know, in 4th grade, and he was in 5th, and she would have to walk him with his hand. You know, he was a big baby. And they were a couple minutes late, and my mom is ringing the bell. Well, when the nun opened up the door, she didn't see my mother behind my brother, but she only knew that the fat kid was there. She only opened the door a little bit and tried to pull my brother through the door while he's screaming, crying. My mother was behind the door and slammed the door open and took her by her habit and threw her on the floor and dragged her across the floor while she was screaming. So I got my tough. Not that I'm saying that was a good thing to do, but my mother was tough. Listen, and I got that from her.
She could have been in a flying nun.
Flying nun, man. Listen, and I'm listening to your story, and I'm like, oh my goodness, they would have been friends. And I got my toughness from my mom. I'll tell you one story about me. When I was young, I was only probably 9 or 10 years old. And my brother would come home crying every day because he was made fun of. And this girl, her and her brother, the 2 toughest kids on the block, were making fun of my brother. And the girl, she was, to me, 6 feet tall. You know, she wasn't, but she was so big. And I ran 2 blocks ahead around the block while my mother was holding my brother's hand, walking us to school, you know, in our uniforms. And I had a plan. And I climbed up on the steps in New York, right? And I was holding on to, you know, the awning. And I said, when she comes out, she's going to kill me today. I don't care, but I'm going to get 1 shot in. She came out. Her name was Roseanne. I'll never forget it. And her brother was Rocco, and Rocco's gone. He passed away with drugs years ago, but she came out. I gave her 1 good shot right in the face, and she beat the crap out of me, and I didn't care. My mom comes around and sees her on top of me and ripped my uniform and saved the day, but I didn't care. So, you know, it's so funny listening to your story. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. I wonder if they knew each other.
What was your mom's name?
My mom was Lucy Farino back in the day. We lived in Long Island City, New York, Queens.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, my mom was really good friends with a woman named Pearl Cooper, Mrs. Cooper. And they were like coffee queens, you know. They were like Oscar and Felix, and it was like, people were like, you know, being the only African-American woman working in an all-white school, Mrs. Cooper was always taking a chance going out with my mother on the avenue, on Coney Island Avenue, the chock full of nuts, you know. They were, you know, they would, oh, hold on.
Yo, I'm just going to get a sandwich. Keep just coming to hang.
Okay,
It's not due for 6:30.
okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. This is a recording studio, so they have sessions going on, and he wanted to.
I want to say hi to them. I want to be on there. I want you to record me. Yay.
Absolutely. Come by the office. We're right here.
We're going to work this out. D-Train, we're going to work this out.
Hey, we right here at 52nd and Madison, baby, in the heart of NYC, in the place to be.
I'm coming out to visit you. Yay. This is so cool. Everybody who's listening, I want to just say a couple things. First, Hunibach, I want to thank you, my love, Magic Man, for calling in. Love you. Magic Man has a show on Beverly Nation, and you got to check him out. Brother O owns the station. I'm on there as well, and I'm just so excited to be part of it. And I love, you know, I just love you guys. Hunibach, I love you. Thanks for calling in. But what I want to say to everybody out there is this guy right here, D-Train, he is a legend, and I really thought this show was going to be more about music, and we'll talk a little bit more. We have about 15 more minutes about his music, but what he has done right now shocked me and has blessed me and has blessed a lot of people out there today. So if this video right now, if this show is touching you at all, can you do me a favor and share it? Just share it onto your page for me, please. I would really, really appreciate that, because I have a feeling that this show, really God put this out for more than one reason here tonight, okay? So this show could really help people out there. So please share it for me, okay? So, D-Train, darling, so you want to sing another song for us?
Sky is the limit, and you know that you keep on, just keep on pressing on. Sky is the limit, and you know that you can have what you want, be who you are. Sky is the limit and you know that you keep on, just keep on pressing on. Sky is the limit and you know that you can have what you want, be who you are. Keep on, keeping on. You gotta keeping on. Keep on, keeping on. You gotta keeping on. Keep on, keeping on. You gotta keeping on. Keep on, keeping on. You gotta keeping on.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm sorry. I still can't believe you're singing to me. Hooney Box says, many blessings to you, D-Train. I love you, Hooney. This is so crazy and so amazing. So we have about 15 more minutes left to the show. I'll close out the last 5. But let's talk about some more stuff that went on in your career. Tell us some really cool stuff, some of the cool people that you worked with.
Well, I got to work with Korn.
You did?
Korn, okay. I was singing backgrounds with a bunch of my fellow singers here, jingle singers here in New York. We worked with Korn when they did the MTV podcast from the Apollo Theater in Harlem, and they sold out the Apollo Theater in Harlem. I did Meatloaf's "Bat Out of Hell 2" album. That was a lot of fun.
That's crazy. Meatloaf.
I did Elton John's "Aida" project.
Oh, wait. Elton John. Let's talk about that, please. So.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't in the studio with us.
You never met him?
I got to meet Elton my first time on Top of the Pops back in '82.
Okay.
It was on the downside of his career because the '70s was gone, the '80s and the disco had came in, and Elton was kind of in a weird place musically. And I was Sting and the Police were doing Synchronicity on Top of the Pops to show off their new album, Synchronicity. And Elton was in the green room just sitting there hanging out with them. So he was sitting there and I introduced myself to him and we met briefly. And I never got to see him again, because he came back so strong. He came back like a firestorm. And it's, Gladys Knight once said this to me. She said, success is not success. Some people think success is definitive. And she said, you never know what success is until you've had it, lost it, and then get it back again. That's when you learn success, because when you get it back again, the second time around, you kind of know what you did wrong the first time around, and you don't do that again. That's the way life is.
We have another caller. Wait, D-Train. We have another caller, baby, for you. But
Okay.
hold on to that note because what you just said was amazing. Caller.
Michael D'Amore. Hey, honey.
Michael D'Amore from the
What's up,
Capris.
Michael?
I'm listening to this interview. I'm telling you, it's killer. D-Train, you're amazing, man.
Thank you, man. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm real good. I'm really enjoying this. I got my phone ringing. It keeps shutting off the live feed. I'm getting annoyed with people.
So, hi, sweetheart. How are you?
I'm good. I tell you, I wanted to call and congratulate you jumping the tech hurdle today and getting him to call in on Skype and everything worked.
Oh,
So-
yeah, it was fun.
So wait, tell us about when you worked together.
Yes, please.
If I'm not mistaken, and it's a lifetime ago, so we were either at the Palladium or the Tunnel, and I had just signed with Jay Ellis Records. We were doing freestyle, and there was some event that we were all on. It was some kind of, because I remember Judy was on it. I think George Lamont was on it. I think you were on it. There was a bunch of people on it.
Then it had to be the Tunnel, because when I did the Palladium on 14th Street, it still had chairs in it. And that was for Sheep's farewell tour. Now Walters and them did a farewell tour. So that was the only time I did the Palladium, so it had to be the Tunnel.
Oh my God! I tell you, well, we're showing our age, man.
That's like saying, yeah, I know what Bonds International was. And the Roxy.
That's amazing.
I miss
You're
those
still in New York.
places.
God bless.
Thank you, man. I miss those places. I mean, when we went out, we had a good time. Friday night, everybody went to a club. Everybody, some people drank, some people did whatever they did. But you came home and you lived. People got drunk, but they went down to the West Village and had blueberry pancakes on Saturday morning or Sunday morning or whatever day they got out of there. Because, you know, Friday, you know how clubs used to be, Michael. You went in on Friday and come out till Sunday or even Monday morning.
You're right about that.
That's where New York was.
Absolutely, and I remember at that time, that was right after the explosions of the roller rinks as well. So people were going to the Roxy and then going to the club afterwards and partying until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and then we were going to breakfast when you were supposed to be eating breakfast.
That's right. I mean, the first time, I think the Roxy was a roller rink. That was a place I met Madonna because she was dating Jelly Bean Benitez at that time.
Jelly.
This
This seems like such a lifetime ago, man. It's amazing.
She had black hair. She looked like she was one of the guardian angels. Because she came up there with the camera. And I was like, oh, she a guardian angel. She going to protect me.
Oh, good Lord, that's funny.
So, I have a question for Michael D'Amore.
What's that?
I mean, I was just serenaded by one of the greats. Would you like to do a couple lines of something? I don't know, anything. You know, you could sing to D-Train.
Nothing against D-Train, but he ain't my type.
All right, sing to us. Sing to me. Come on, baby.
I like the guy, man. I ain't serenading him. Well, why do you always do this, Cherry? You do this
Because
to everybody.
you're one of the best, too. Come on, baby.
Old friend, it's so nice to feel you hold me again. But it doesn't matter where you have been. My heart welcomes you back, old friend. Is that enough?
That's enough. Listen, I love you. So
God!
I love you. So this is what we're gonna do. We're coming to the close of the show. I'm gonna have Michael give a shout out and let everybody know what's going on with him. I'm gonna have you do the same, D-Train. But Michael D'Amore, after the holidays, we are going to set something up when you're in town, and we are gonna meet D-Train, and we are all gonna go out into the city and have some fun. Okay? Another call?
Absolutely. I'm holding you all to it.
And guess what? We have a caller. Stay on the line, Michael, because I think I know who this is. Is this Kathy?
It certainly is, and I'm coming out too.
Kathy Kasi, say hey.
My baby, my baby.
Hi, D-Train. I love you.
Hi, sweetie.
This is so
How you
great.
doing?
I'm loving this. And by the way, I think I'm the only one on this call right now that ever had a signed Kathy shirt.
Don't be telling secrets, Mike.
Oh, honey, there's video proof. I took the cat's out of the bag now, sweetheart.
Oh,
Man, I'm telling you, when you get things out there, you can't take them back.
this is unbelievable. Kathy, I'm going to have you, listen, I'm going to have you tell everybody what's happening with us next year, because Michael's listening. So you tell everybody out there about that first.
Okay, well, July 20th, we are doing the show with the fabulous Capri, Donnie Abraham, Frankie Tweed, Tommy Gooch, comedian. It's July 20th. You tell them the place and the address because, you know, I don't know where the hell it is.
Okay.
It's in Jersey.
So
I'll be there. I don't know where.
I knew it. Yes.
If I'm going, what?
If we're getting paid, we have
Make
no
sure you find
idea.
your way there.
Cedar Gardens in Hamilton, everybody. So that's what we're doing, putting on this amazing show, and I can't wait for that. So
Yes. And
My-
tickets will be on sale very soon.
that's right. And Michael D'Amore, tell everybody what's happening with you.
I'm actually right now in Southwest Florida. I'm playing the Van Wezel in Sarasota in 2 weeks, and I'm coming up to do the Patchogue Theater on the 17th, and I'll be bouncing back and forth in between.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Wow, I'm in Florida too, but I'm in Orlando tonight at the Bohemian Restaurant, and I'm going across the street to see Jersey Boys.
Wow. I'm so jealous. Well, I'm not jealous.
Well,
You know what? I'm
I
not.
think we lost your interviewee. Where did D-Train go?
Yeah. D-Train.
D-Train.
Yeah, I'm still here.
So,
I'm
baby,
just listening. I'm just
D-Train,
listening.
I want you to tell everyone where they can find you. All right, cut her mic, Gino. Cut her mic. All right, Kathy, I love you.
What?
Let D-Train talk. Yes, I do. Cut her mic. No. D-Train, tell everybody what's going on with you. I mean, if people can find you, your music, what's going on?
Sure. I'm working on a new album that's going to be out in 2019, entitled D-Train, The Other Side of the Tracks. But surprising music because it's not what stereotypically R&B is going to be. Performing on the November 3rd at Lehman College. November 16th, I'll be at Club Paradiso in Amsterdam, Holland. Then after that, I go to Geneva, Switzerland, and then to Germany. And then back home for Christmas concerts with Rob Mathis and Vanessa Williams at Purchase College.
This is amazing. So, all right. So I want to take the moment and thank everybody out there, everyone who's listened to this show, everyone who's called in. What an amazing show. I want to thank you, D-Train. Hey, guys, what's the background noise? There's background noise.
Got me for life.
Kath, we have background noise.
Oh, was that Kathy?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, we have background noise. Kath, we have to say goodbye to you guys. I have to end the show now.
Okay.
All right. Love you.
Goodbye.
Love you,
Bye,
Kathy.
Kath. All right.
Love you all.
Mwah. Bye, guys.
Hey, D-Train, can we get a sweeper from you for the radio station
Yep.
and Jerry's show?
Absolutely.
You know what to say. You're who you are, and then you're listening to the Jerry Petito Show on Hamilton Radio Network.
Is that Appleton? What'd you say?
Hamilton Radio Network. We've been around 22 years, D-Train.
Wow.
Yeah.
And like you said, the force is to be reckoned with, right?
That's right.
Hamilton.
Hamilton.
There you go.
Okay, so Jerry Petito.
Yes.
Hey, what's up, people? How you guys doing? This is D-Train, and you're listening to my girl, the Jerry Petito Show in Hamilton, New Jersey.
On
You know
Hamilton Radio.
On Hamilton New Radio. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm bad with technology.
It's
Sweet.
cool. It's all good.
Okay. So, hey, what's up, people? How you doing? This is D-Train, and you're listening to my girl, Geraldine. Hey, what's up, people? How you doing? This is D-Train, and you're hanging with my girl, Jerry Petito, on Hamilton Radio.
Yay. Woo! That was
I
beautiful.
got it right, guys. I got it right. You know what I mean?
This is amazing. So, guys, I want to thank everybody out there. D-Train, I love you. I cannot wait to really meet you, okay? This is going to be amazing. And I'm going to be calling you later because we're going to set up an interview at your work with me. I'm coming and hanging out. I want to
Come
let
on in
everybody...
here.
I want to let everybody out there know what's happening with me, guys. So I am the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. If you go on Amazon, BarnesandNobles.com, you can find my book. It's only $10. Buy my book, guys, because all proceeds are going to help people. And you know that's true. If it's coming from me, it's going to happen. Okay? I've helped a lot of people thus far. I'm on 3 radio networks now. Hamilton Radio is where it started, and it's all because of Hamilton Radio. So Hamilton Radio is Tuesday nights. I still have a couple more Thursday nights left. I sponsor some Thursday night shows as well. But I'm with PANJ Radio one Wednesday a month in the afternoon, and I'm with Beverly Nation Talk Show Radio every other Monday night. And this past Monday night, I broke another syndicated record of almost 300,000 listeners, guys. And Hunibach called in to let me know, and that was amazing. So God is good, and I just love what's happening here and what he's allowing me to do. And D-Train, I love you, baby. And thank you
Love you
for
too, man.
being my guest. This was amazing.
Thank you, guys, so much for having me. Love you all, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, ciao.
Ciao.
Woo.
Run to the men's room. Bang.